Imagine a civilization so vast, so advanced, it spanned an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. Yet, for nearly 1,000 years, it left behind virtually no evidence of warfare. No grand battles, no triumphant kings, no weapons caches. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? In a world of warring empires and constant conquest, this society stands as a profound anomaly, challenging everything we thought we knew about human nature and the rise of complex cultures. Welcome to the enigma of the Indus Valley Civilization, also known as the Harappan Civilization. Flourishing from roughly 2500 to 1900 BCE, their story is whispered not through epic sagas of war, but through silent ruins. From the sun-baked plains of what is now Pakistan to the far reaches of Afghanistan and India, their cities were marvels of urban planning, boasting sophisticated sanitation systems millennia ahead of their time. But the strangest part, the detail that truly baffles historians and archaeologists alike, is the almost complete absence of military artifacts. No swords, no spears, no chariots of war. When Sir John Marshall first began his extensive excavations at Mohenjo-daro and Harappa in the 1920s, he expected to find the usual trappings of power and conflict. What he found instead was a puzzle. Unlike the fortified citadels of Sumer or the grand monuments celebrating pharaonic conquests, Harappan cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa possessed relatively modest defensive structures, if any at all. The few walls that existed seemed more designed for flood control or demarcation than for repelling invading armies. This isn't to say they were defenseless, but their priorities were clearly elsewhere. Think about it, an entire civilization, thriving for centuries, without the constant threat of internal strife or external aggression dictating their architecture or economy. It's almost utopian. What we do not know, however, is the exact nature of their governance. Without monumental palaces or elaborate tombs of rulers, archaeologists like Jonathan Mark Kenoyer from the University of Wisconsin-Madison suggest a more decentralized system. Perhaps a collective leadership or a council of elders, rather than a single king or emperor. Their uniformity in weights, measures, and city planning points to a strong central authority, but one that didn't flex its power through intimidation. Contrast this with their contemporaries, the war chariots of Egypt, the siege engines of Assyria, the vast armies of Akkad. These empires built their legacies on conquest. The Harappans built theirs on cooperation. Their impressive public works, like the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro, speak volumes. This enormous, watertight pool wasn't for defense, but for ritual purification or communal gathering, emphasizing shared values. And the drainage systems. Every house, even the smallest, had access to sophisticated sanitation. This wasn't just practical, it demonstrated an egalitarian concern for public health rarely seen in the ancient world. This focus on communal well-being over individual glory or military might is a stark departure from the narrative we usually associate with the dawn of civilization. They seem to value order, hygiene, and harmony above all else. So, how did they protect themselves? How did they maintain such a vast and prosperous network without an army? The answer lies in their geography and their unparalleled economic prowess. Situated along the fertile Indus River, they had abundant agricultural resources. Their strategic location allowed them to control trade routes, exchanging goods with Mesopotamia, Oman, and even as far as Africa. A 2010 study published in *Antiquity* Journal detailed the extensive trade networks, showing they exchanged highly sought-after goods like carnelian beads, copper, and timber. Their wealth wasn't built on conquest, but on commerce and craftsmanship. This economic power likely offered a different kind of security, one based on interdependence rather than armed might. They were masters of resource management. Evidence from archaeological sites like Dolavara shows sophisticated water harvesting systems, critical for survival in a region with unpredictable monsoons. Now, for a myth correction, many people assume that all early civilizations were inherently violent, driven by scarcity and the need for conquest. The Indus Valley civilization directly contradicts this. They demonstrate that large, complex societies could indeed exist and thrive for extended periods without resorting to organized warfare as a primary means of expansion or conflict resolution. This isn't to say there was never any violence. Isolated instances of interpersonal conflict or small skirmishes undoubtedly occurred, as they do in any human society. But the systemic, state-sponsored warfare, the kind that leaves behind mountains of weapons, mass graves, and grand narratives of military heroes, that evidence is strikingly absent. The famed priest-king statue from Mohenjo-daro, a captivating figure, is often misidentified by popular culture as a ruler. But he wears no crown, carries no scepter, and holds no weapon. His serene demeanor and stylized beard suggest a spiritual or administrative leader, perhaps a wise elder or priest, rather than a military general. It's a symbol of peace, not power. The Harappan script remains undeciphered, a tantalizing mystery. This means we can't read their own accounts of their society, their laws, or their philosophies. This is a huge gap in our knowledge. If we could read their language, imagine what we might learn about their methods of conflict resolution, their social structures, and the principles that guided their remarkably peaceful existence. The decline of the Indus Valley civilization is another profound mystery, not marked by a sudden, violent collapse, but a gradual, enigmatic fading away around 1900 BCE. For decades, the Warrian invasion theory suggested a violent conquest by Indo-Aryan tribes. This idea, popularized by Mortimer Wheeler, posited a military overthrow. However, modern archaeological and genetic evidence, including a seminal 2012 study by Liviu Giosan and his team published in the * Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences *, largely discredits this theory. Instead, the prevailing theories point to environmental factors. Climate change, specifically a prolonged period of drought, is a strong contender. The shifting course of the Gagahakra River system, once a mighty waterway, could have devastated their agricultural base, forcing populations to disperse and their complex urban centers to unravel. A 2014 paper in * Nature Communications * provided further evidence of significant monsoon weakening, making sustained large-scale agriculture impossible in many regions. It wasn't a sudden, cataclysmic event, but a slow, agonizing decline. People migrated eastward, seeking new fertile lands, taking their culture with them, but losing the urban sophistication. The cities didn't fall to invaders, they were simply abandoned as the lifeblood of the river dried up. The great baths and granaries slowly crumbled, reclaimed by the desert sands. This makes their story even more poignant. A civilization that mastered peace, urban planning, and trade, ultimately succumbed not to human aggression, but to the indifferent forces of nature. What lessons can we draw from the Harappans? Can a large-scale society truly exist without the machinery of war? Their existence suggests that human nature isn't inherently predisposed to conflict. Perhaps the true strength of a civilization isn't measured by its military might, but by its capacity for cooperation, its commitment to public welfare, and its ability to thrive without dominance. The Harappans built a legacy of peace, a testament to what humanity can achieve when it prioritizes shared prosperity over individual power struggles. Their story challenges us to reconsider the foundations of our own societies. Do we still believe that military strength is the only guarantor of security? The quiet wisdom of the Indus Valley civilization whispers across millennia, reminding us that there was once a different path, a road less traveled, where peace was not an absence of war, but a way of life. They offer a compelling counter-narrative to the blood-soaked annals of ancient history, a beacon of what might be possible if humanity chose a different path. What if our modern world, with all its technological advancements, could learn from these ancient giants who prioritized harmony over conquest? Their unique experiment in non-violent coexistence remains one of history's most fascinating and inspiring mysteries, a riddle etched in the silent stones of their forgotten cities. The sheer scale of their achievement, maintained without a standing army for over 6 centuries, is a testament to an alternative model of human civilization. It forces us to ask, were they truly warless, or did they simply have a form of conflict resolution so advanced, we haven't yet recognized its archaeological footprint? The answers remain hidden in their undeciphered script and the silent earth, but the question itself is a powerful one, prompting us to rethink the very nature of human progress. The Indus Valley civilization stands as a monumental counterpoint to the relentless drumbeat of war that echoes through much of recorded history. They were indeed the peaceful giants, and their story challenges us to imagine a world where the greatest monuments are built not to triumph over enemies, but to uplift all.